Well, hi there and welcome, racing fans, to a very big edition of Winning Ways. We've got all the racing from the weekend, Queen's Plate. We had some big races in Joburg, which are big pointers to the 3-year-olds. And then we've got a wonderful insert in your call on a bit of shenanigans in Australian racing. It's quite old, this insert. Some of you might have seen it, but it's better.
Very interesting.
It's better than a soapy.
It just shows, James, that you have a situation where the powers that be, the jockey clubs, whatever they are, need the backing of the police.
Yes, exactly. Without the police, they can actually do nothing.
Yeah.
But it's first part. We'll do it in a 2-part series because we've only got 20 minutes. But just talking about the FAR Cup.
Yeah. Well, Spurs and Man City won 7-0. They were there. But I like the way people are throwing in their squad players, if I can use that term. The upsets have to be Newport beating Leicester, and of course Fulham going down 2-1 at home after missing a penalty. So those were the two upsets. There are other teams came through as form teams. And it always throws up upsets, James.
Yes, always. Great fun. Cricket, we smashed Pakistanis. They got another hiding.
They got another hiding, yeah.
And the Indians are giving the Australians.
And you must remember, the Indians, I think, are coming off 2 test losses.
Yeah.
South Africa and England. They go down to Australia and they wipe the boards with them.
They're wiping them properly.
Yeah, it just shows you can't cheat.
No.
It doesn't augur well for the whole Australian cricket scene. And you know that what was the captain's name? Smith.
Yeah.
Remember they want to put his video in the crimes.
Yeah, they want to put guys are back.
They want to put his video in the crime section of Australians. That's how upset they are that they had to resort to cheating.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a huge show, so let's go on with our 3 to follow. Well, we go straight to the Vaal, and we go 31st of December. It was last Monday. Sean Terry always got some nice horses to follow. We particularly like the look of this one. This one's name is Hadia. Let's go and pick her up at the start. She ran in a 1200 meter, was race 2 at the Vaal. Drawn 5 in Sheikh Khalifa's colours. And the famous yellow and blue.
Slow out, James. Loses a couple of lengths. Her name's Harir. I don't know what it means, but there's plenty of place. Wordiness is out fast, you know. Hartley 5 is your favourite tour for less. That shows speed early. And Pachanga shows speed as well. And this is Silvano, James?
Yeah, she's a Silvano out of a Vaal mare, but she looks like she's going to stay well, because we are halfway through the race now. And looks like, here she might move up a bit and get going, but then hits a complete flat spot going through the 600 and doesn't look like she can even run a place. She's just absolutely flat to the boards. The others are gone in front. Pachanga's here on the left-hand side of your screen in the green and white for the fortunes. That kicks on to win.
Yeah, Pachanga quickens away. Now, as James says, watching her you see her with the yellow and blue, she's not going to run a place here at this stage. And the winner's off and gone. And our friend Lyle Hurston keeps plugging away, says, come on, this is you've got to learn from this. And I like the way she does it late in the race, suggesting she wants a trip, Jim.
Yeah, out of a Vaal mare, one would be thinking maybe not, but I thought that was a particularly pleasing run. She was really all at sea until the last 100 meters. We move on from there and we go to a winner. And this was a very impressive winner. One of the best 2-year-old winners we've seen so far. We haven't seen many, but Vander's Spirit at Kenilworth opened up the day on Queen's Plate, Lauren's Queen's Plate Day. And did she win well. Let's go and pick her up at the start.
Yeah, this horse, I thought, a lot of support. It runs in Marsh Shirtliff's colours, and again, gets left, you'll see it. Gets completely left out of trap 2, and the well-supported horse is now suddenly dropped off them. I thought it must be good because Miss Honey Brown Riley's filly looks useful, and that finishes 3rd. But the pace is on. Duchess of Cornwall's going very quickly. Chilly Winter's up there. And the horse we found, look at Marsh's colours at the back here, Jim.
Yeah, now this picture we're going to talk about later. This is the biggest waste of time I've ever seen. Honestly, if you're going to show pinpricks in the distance,
get good cameras.
Show them. Yeah.
Get good cameras.
Yeah. If you want to zoom in and show a different angle, that's great. But you can't see anything.
Yeah, that doesn't
and
tell
racing
you too much.
People want to see the race unfold. Anyway, this horse is now second last. The blue cap and the pink sleeves. She's by Trippy out of Captain Alma, Manamu. I think she is Sean Terry trained her. She was quite
That's
good.
right. My mother, Manamu, my mother. This is Cloverflame, all right.
Cloverflame bred it, and it just quickens up and runs past them without actually taking a deep breath.
Yeah,
just hands and heels.
Very good debut.
Alda de Meyer. I mean, this is pretty
Vanda,
good.
I wonder where the Vanda comes from.
Yeah. Is that what Vanda?
I don't know what Vanda is.
You don't know what Vanda is. Okay. Well, we're going to move on, and we're going to see another filly that ran.
The sister was a good horse.
Who? Yeah.
The Afrikaans owned one.
Yeah.
Van der Merwe.
Van der Merwe.
Do you remember Van der Merwe?
Yeah. That was the sister.
That was the sister,
Van der Merwe's sister. They made a movie of it.
That's what they call it.
Said in the Free State, I think it was.
That's right.
Buffelsfontein.
Yeah. Bar Free State. It was Bar Free State.
Yeah. Yeah. Bar Free State. We'll talk about Free State later.
Yes.
Oceana. We go to Turfentine, and they ran 1,400 meters at Turfentine on Sunday, and this was a particularly pleasing run. Peter White owns it, and Diane Stenger trained it. Nice run from this filly. Let's go and pick her up.
Yeah, the draw is critical here. Drawn very deep, and you'll see it gets away with him, but the way they quicken up on the inside of it, you can see that this Oceana is trying to get over, but a long way off the speed. When you level it out, you're 8 lengths off them very quickly, because the speed is on, they're going quickly. Lady Defender, Atomic Kitten, Aziza, they go up there and make it hot. So you can see this horse who we found, Oceana, is second last in Peter White's colours, and certainly a lot to do.
Well, there are a couple of horses with form in the race. Tuscan Light had pretty good form. Aziza was your favourite. That's sitting up third. This filly's second last, and she's by Ideal World out of a Fort Wood mare, which indicates she's going to go forever. And she's bred by Bosworth Farms. You know, Lith Orford, Neil, and Lith, one of the best breeders around with limited resources. And this filly looks like she can run. Here she is. One off the right in black colours with a check cap, and she still doesn't look like she's got any chance of getting to them.
The winner is She Rocks for Stuart Pettigrew and Diego. They go down the inside, you can see in the red and white, you can see Diego's style. And then I thought for a long time Tuscan Light was going to pull it off with Dennis Schwartz, his old academy mate. They were going to fight it out. And Diego prevailed. But have a look at this horse we found, Oceana. There it is in the black.
Absolutely running on best of all, and really not getting a hiding. She will improve length from this, and she'll go 1,800. I'd like to see her in an 1,800 next time. That's what she'll be at her best. You know, you don't want to see her in a 1,400. She could go 2,000 meters. She's gonna go on well, and she might end up even being a filly for one of the big Oaks type filly. That's what she would be. Anyway, those three are pretty good. They look like they can are worth having a look at. Let's go and see what shouldn't happen. Well, you know what? Sometimes horses just don't really understand, don't get the plot.
Cremora, Cremora got on top.
Where's my horse? It's not inside, it's on top. Anyway, just talking about this this segment, we've been battling with this segment, but we obviously find lots of things that are quite fun. But next week we're going to start with a new segment called Where Are They Now?, where we're going to feature people who have been prominent in racing or had positions in racing, and we'll tell you a little bit about them. We're going to send out the emails and start talking to chat people. You got a pretty good idea of how this is going to work?
Yeah, basically 30 seconds of a guy talking into his camera saying, I'm doing this live. We want to get Craig Benton on, he's a starter in Hong Kong. I was speaking to Ron Phillips, used to be a trainer and a jockey here. Just tell us what they're doing now, maybe a photo of them. It's great to find out where they are now.
We can get Eric Fordred.
Yes, we can get, there's a good few people. There's a good few
people. Okay, a plum of the week.
second. On the outside, Shafuda, then Just Adore Her. Top of the lane, Her Royal Majesty. Hey Delilah, and on the outside, Lady Legend, but Her Royal Majesty's clear by 2 or 3 as they get to the 300-metre marker. And Her Royal Majesty still clear 2 or 3 lengths. Hey Delilah's back second, and that's the way they're going to run at this stage. Her Royal Majesty to win it, and winning it by about 4 lengths, 4 to 5 lengths. Second, Hey Delilah. Third will go to Lady Legend, Just Adore Her, then Me Before You and Shafuda.
Well, this is the way to start off with the weekend. Into bet, you could have got 12 to 10, 14 to 10 even about this. One is barrier trial by 10, and Billy Jacobson rode it, and Billy Jacobson rode it again. Yoga stuck with him by Great Britain. And you know what's interesting? If Marcus had been on this would have been 1 to 10.
Yes.
Not
9
12
to 10.
to 10 or 14 to 10
yeah.
that you're able to get on Interbet. Would have been 1 to 10.
Yeah,
it looked
right.
like an absolute
very quick course. A typical
line.
Great Britain speed.
Yeah. Great Britain, bred by Addison Park, and really very nice, quick filly. And good luck to Yogas stepping it out. And well done to Billy. He doesn't give many chances, but
he brings him home.
Done the work.
He brings him home.
Does the work, so good for him.
Well done, Billy.
Right, we're going to take a break and be back with current affairs.
Hi, I'm Gary Peer, one of the co-founders and executive directors of Interbet. Interbet are the pioneers of online betting in South Africa, having started way back in the year 2000. Our mission is to continue to lead the pack in providing cutting-edge technology in the online horse racing and sports betting space. Our platform remains unique in the context of being a service provider to B2B and B2P. Our aim is to make the site as user-friendly and entertaining as possible, so it appeals to a wide spectrum of target audiences. We strive to provide as much information as possible and to give our punters the very best odds, so the experience is always interactive and enjoyable.
Right, welcome back. We've got some feature races took place up on the Haarveld, and of course we had that magnificent day, the Queen's Plate, well, 2 days of racing, but the big race, the Queen's Plate, we've talked about, and a great race, James.
Yes, it was, and certainly the build-up was just as good.
Yeah.
It was just very, very good racing. I mean,
yeah,
you get the best horses out there.
Good horses running on both days.
Yeah.
And a big day for Crawford on the Friday. Saturday,
yeah.
Snaith bouncing back.
Yeah.
You know, I think he had 56 runners in the 2 days.
56 runners,
yeah.
He
had my
you know what they cost?
No, I don't. But well done to him. He came away with the Queen's Plate. But there was some very good racing, and I was pleased some of the big horses came through, and some horses have enhanced their reputations going into the Met.
Yeah, well, let's start off with the Friday, and we start with the Scepter Stakes, which is always a very good race for fillies, open. It's a grade 2, and this was no exception. A really, really good race. Let's go and pick them up at the 800.
Group. They being followed then by Sweet Mary Lou over towards the inside as they come down towards the final 600. Casual Diamond in the yellow silks over towards the inside still goes the quickest to March Music, and Annika racing in behind those. New Voila and Too Fat to Fly are trying to get into it. Anime is still handy towards the outside. Clouds Unfold is just tracking this run group and now starts to make a forward move towards the outside. Down towards the inside, Juniper Spring is also unwinding a good looking run, has hit the front, and it's Juniper Spring over towards the inside, and Clouds Unfold coming home strongly up the outside. There's the two. Juniper Spring with the advantage. Clouds Unfold is reeling her in up the outside. It's going to be close. Juniper Spring needs the line. Clouds Unfold flying. Clouds Unfold got there. Juniper Spring was back in second. They were followed by Freedom Charter behind that third. Looked like Mary O'Reilly might have got up for fourth.
Well, Clouds Unfold had run a cracking good race in the fillies, guineas, had come back down to the 6 furlong and shown that been by what a winter, it might well be a top sprinter, Jim.
Well, that's what's interesting about it. She won a 7 furlong, and
Yes.
a canter came from off them. And then she was all at sea in the guineas, and then came back here and really ran on well at the death. You know, she's out of a Monjeur mare.
Ooh.
By what a winter.
They're a mile and a half horses.
Bred by Drachenstein, owned by them. What a great start to them for their weekend, as it were.
Fantastic. Great to see them have the winner, and they had a big one the next day. So
Yeah.
it was absolutely wonderful. I thought it was a terrific ride by Aldo, and a terrific ride by Richard Fourie. Richard Fourie pounced at what he thought was the right time,
Yeah.
and Aldo had been covering up on the other side of the course.
Yeah, it was a very, very good race, and the Candace Bass ran first and third, which is no mean feat, you know, in a race like this. But then obviously we moved on to Saturday, and Saturday saw just a slew of big races. And we start with the first one of the Saturday meetings was
Well, we got
Politician Stakes. I thought it was the Politician Stake, which we thought would be the big pointer to what the rest looked like. There's only one horse that had taken them all on and run pretty close to them, was Twist of Fate. All the others were sort of hangers around, and they looked like hangers around. He made them look like beginners. He gave them 2 kilos. And
a very good ride.
I mean, he gave them 6 and 7 kilos, some of these horses, and pulverized them.
Bad
Never
draw.
mind about good ride.
Bad draw. They were clever ride, and Jay Ramsden is a great trainer.
It just absolutely murdered them.
Yes.
How good are the rest? That's the point. Let's go and pick them up.
Yeah, let's
go pick them up at 800.
Twist of Fate is fourth, is 5 lengths off the leader. Hoodoo Magic's beautifully placed at the fence just in behind that. Then it's Iditarod Trail. Perpetual Flame races just outside of that. He corners 9 or 10 lengths off the lead. Herodotus is further back, and Seattle Force the outside. They're homeward bound now. They straighten for the run to the line. The loose horse is causing a little trouble. He's interfering with Potawatomi. He's taking him over towards that inside running rail. Sanata now comes forward to join issue. Sailing Lizard, the white cap, is also running on strongly behind those. Deeper out in the track, Twist of Fate is trying to get into it too. There's plenty with chances once again as they come down to the final 200. Sailing Lizard over towards the inside. Sinatla and Twist of Fate in the centre of the course is now coming home best of all, and Twist of Fate is come clear in the closing stages. Twist of Fate goes on to win it, and to win it quite comfortably in the end. It got tight for places. Maybe just Sinatla held on for second. There was a wall of them across the line behind that for third.
Yeah, just spare a thought for Bunker Hunt. It found support. He looks to be a very good horse. His stablemate had run well, and he was a much more fancied horse, and he threw his rider, Richard Fourie, at the start.
Well,
it
was a most amazing fall, because he just lost his footing and just tripped over.
Tripped over himself,
and Richard had no chance.
No,
he bit the dust, but to his credit, he got back up.
Yeah,
Richard shook him up a bit.
He had a lot to do to Richard, but James Twist of Fate is a smart horse.
He's very, very good.
Very good.
When you look at the way he won this, first time he's going over a bit of ground. He's by Master of My Fate.
That's right.
He's bred by a Favour stud. He was a cheap horse. Jay Ramsden
Yeah,
wonderful, absolutely
wonderful training
wonderful.
feat. Yeah, well done. Because Joey went through him in the Guineas and he ran a brilliant race there. He's one of the leading lights for the Derby.
Well, no, he's not going for the Derby.
Well, no.
He's going for the $5 million race.
Well, there you
That's
go.
what Joey said. Joey said
There
in
you
his
go.
interview, he said, I'm not going, he said, I'm going for the, but the horse is so well, I'm going to run him in the Politician to see.
Yeah.
And when you looked at the weights, he had 61 kilos. The second, third, and fourth horses all had 54. Then you had one that had 55 and a half. And
So he blew them away.
you know, he just absolutely gave them a hiding there.
Yeah, great for Master of My Fate. People have bought them, they've gone up there, they've stood in the queues and they're coming through. Smart stallion.
No excuses for anyone except obviously Bunker Hunt, who stumbled at the start and lost his rider. But who knows? We'll see Bunker Hunt in the future to see if he's the great silver wizard.
Yeah, he's a good horse and time will tell, as you say.
Time will tell. We then move on to the Peninsula. Now, the Peninsula was the big opportunity for Eyes Wide Open to come back to himself.
Yeah.
He just looks like he's lost his luster for racing. He doesn't want to race.
Yeah, a horse like the Slades lost his luster. You're right, there's a few of them, and these other ones came through and beat it. It's a hell of a good race, the Peninsula.
Yeah, let's go and pick them up at the 800.
Side of runners, and Doublemint is back along his inside. Elusive Silver races in behind that, and American Landing is the trailer. They're at the top of the lane now and off that false rail with just on 600 metres left to go, and Campari straightened up with a useful advantage. Magnificent 7 is back in second, the Slade the inside third. Ballad of the Sea races in behind that in fourth, and Platinum Prince is now getting out after the leader. Campari still rolls in front. He's going to take some catching. In behind him, Magnificent 7 is trying to cut back the deficit over towards the inside, Man About Town, but Campari is still well clear as they come inside the final 100. In behind that, Doublemint is now setting out after him, and Man About Town along the inside. Campari is stopping now. He's still in front. Coming strongly is Doublemint. It's going to be close. Doublemint gets up to beat him on the line. Campari was back in second. They were then followed by Man About Town behind them.
There we go, twice over, starting to tell people that he's going to be a real serious stallion. And Doublemint, James, I thought our friend Elder De Meyer had timed it perfectly. He had them all gone, but this horse kept finding.
He won a good race, this horse.
Yes.
This is not a bad horse. You know, I'm not sure about the rest of them. It looked like it was pretty weak, but he did it. He was in receipt of 2.5 kilos from the second horse, Campari, which is a Carrari, and I think he's really come well.
Yeah. There's some stallions coming through, Jim.
Yeah, but this is out of a Tale of the Catman, Doublemint, and bred by his owner, the Fosters. Yeah,
great supporters.
And well done to them. Every year they step up and have one.
Great supporters.
Great to have them winning, and here in South Africa watching these horses win. That was a start for the Snakes, because it had looked bleak up till then. Gee,
up till then it had really been...
well, they won the first race.
Yeah, was it the work riders?
Hey, I bred it. Okay.
That's right, I saw that. Jimbo Goodman bred on the big day.
The Snakes and the Cox Yard. I got horses only with the top hopes.
Oh, no, I've been begging you for a horse for years.
You've been begging me, and I sold it to John Freeman. He was the clever guy who bought it. Anyway, let's move on. The Paddock Stakes, which is a Group 1 and is the race for fillies. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone wants to win the Paddock Stakes. And the Paddock Stakes...
It's chairman's thing, James. I've got the chairman's cup.
We've got the chairman's thing. Sorry, we've got the chairman's cup. I missed out. Okay, let's get the chairman's cup out the way, because the chairman's cup, 2 miles they go. It's a grade 2. Let's go to the 800 and pick them up.
Xanadu in front from Walter Smoothie. Then comes Street Weaver. Woodlands Forest, Pacific Chestnut. Strathdon is being followed by Plano. And Gimme One Night is going to corner at the back of the field. About 8 lengths off that leader. 600 metres left to go. Xanadu, the one in front. Walter Smoothie, the first one to move up and join issue. Down the inside, we got Pacific Chestnut. Deeper out, we got Street Weaver. Woodlands Forest. Strathdon gets going. Gimme One Night is coming through towards the inside. 300 metres left to go. Walter Smoothie's put his head in front. Strathdon is catching him with each and every stride, and Gimme One Night has taken off on the inside. Strathdon, Gimme One Night between runners Pacific Chestnut. It's Gimme One Night that's now claimed the advantage close home. And Gimme One Night wins going away from Pacific Chestnut, Strathdon and Walter Smoothie. He's certainly turning into a stayer of note, is Gimme One Night. Last time out, same tactics.
Yeah, this little horse can really stay well. He loves to drop out of it. Lyle Hewitson knows him now the last 2 times, same tactics. Straight, little horse, James, straight through them.
I love watching the pull-up, because if you see the pull-up, you can see his face, this little horse. He's got his ears back, and he wants to have a go at everything. The jockey is ecstatic, and he looks like he still wants to chow the horse next door to him. I think he's a different class.
Yeah, Candice's horse, the runner-up, ran a very good race too, as did Strathdon. But this little horse is just doing well and keeps Brett Crawford's run over the weekend going.
Well, he's by Give Me the Green Light out of a parade leader mare, bred by Duncan Barry at Riverton.
Okay. He breeds good horses.
Stud. So he's bred another good one, and this certainly won a nice stayers race. He's a lovely little horse.
Yes.
We then, go back now. We rewind back to the Queen's, the Paddock Stakes. And the Paddock Stakes, that's a race you want to win.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to win it. And it turned out the best horse did win it, and she is a superstar. Let's go and pick them up at the start.
They're in a straight line. They're ready to run. Signal given from behind, racing to a perfect beginning from that 1800-meter mark. Miss Catlin a little bit slow of the mark and slotting into the back of the field. We've got Second Request. Getting away the quickest on the outside, it is Fresnay, who's pushing forward and going off in search of the lead. Clears off to lead by a length and a half. Oh, Susanna tracks her in second, and in fact she's pushing past runners on the outside to go and spearhead the attack. Cascapedia is also on the move to go and sit on the heels of the early speed. Then comes Lady in Black, being followed by Miyabi Gold in the pink and white colours, giving about 6 lengths start. A length away we find Safe Harbour, at a girth Elusive Heart. Outside of that we find Sylvan on Fire is easily a dozen lengths off that leader. Hashtag Yellow pushing through between runners. A length and a half to Miss Catlin, who's sitting on the inside of Brave Move, and that leaves Second Request racing at the end of a stretched out field. 16 lengths cover them as they head towards the middle of the bend, just on 800 metres left to go, and it's Oh Susanna. She's in front and she's cleared off to lead by 2. Racing in second we got Cascapedia. 2.5 towards the inside we find Fresnay, who's sitting on the inside of Lady in Black. They being followed by Miyabi Gold. Safe Harbour corners about 7 off the leader. Elusive Heart racing next. Then comes Hashtag Yellow. Miss Catlin is being followed by Sylvan on Fire, Brave Move. And then comes Second Request. They settle for the run to the line. Racing middle outside. 400 metres left to go. And Oh Susanna says, come and catch me if you can. Lady in Black is on the chase up the outside. And Safe Harbour, deepest of all, is also starting to run on. Fresnay towards the inside. Cascapedia, 200 metres left to go. Oh Susanna still in front. Lady in Black is trying to wear it down on the outside. It's Oh Susanna on the inside. Lady in Black, she's trying to bridge the gap into the closing stages, but Oh Susanna goes all of the way to win it from Lady in Black in second. Cascapedia, Fresnay, then came Second Request.
Well, there we go, James. This is typical of a top horse with beautiful pedigree. Yeah. Street Cry. You were telling me earlier about the mother.
I never told you anything earlier. I just said,
you was telling you, name.
Sharp Susan, okay? $2 million she cost when she first went to stud. The team bought her for $1,050,000 in Australia at a broodmare sale. She's got a Fastnet Rock coming, that's in Australia. She's got a Galileo, and she's in Foal to Frankel. Got a Galileo filly.
Jeez.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful win, but the Queen's
well
Plate was the race that we all came to see. And what a race it
turned
out to be,
Queen's
the Lamarant's Queen's Plate. Let's go and pick them up at the start, and we'll give you the rundown.
The lineup, all in line, all clear. And away they go. Bit of an untidy beginning, this one. Rainbow Bridge a little bit slow of the mark, and Hat Pantana lost 4 lengths coming out of the gates. Amazing Strike began quickly. Up there in second, we've got Undercover Agent. Snow Dance with the white cap is trapped 3 deep, but pushing forward. Then comes Socrat, who's sitting back of the rail. A length and a half to Infamous Fox in the white colours. Legal Eagle is giving about 7 lengths start. Half back on the inside, it's Rainbow Bridge. Then comes Do It Again. And 5 lengths away at the field, at the tail of the field, we find Hat Pantana. They head towards the middle of the bend in the Lombard Queen's Plate, just on 800 metres left to go. Amazing Strike sets a useful pace. Up there in second, we got Undercover Agent. A length and a half to Snow Dance. On the inside, we find Socrat. A length and a half to Legal Eagle, who starts to creep closer. Then comes Infamous Fox. Do It Again is also on the move. Rainbow Bridge is going to corner back. One from last, and Hatpentana is the last to swing as they straighten up in the Lomrock Queen's Plate. 550 metres left to go, and Undercover Agent quickly moves up, takes the lead and kicks for home. Socrat on the inside. Legal Eagle being produced up the middle. Rainbow Bridge being settled right up the outside with Do It Again. 300 metres left to go. Undercover Agent. Snow Dance has taken off. Legal Eagle in the middle. Rainbow Bridge. Do It Again. They've taken off together. Socrat down the inside. It's Socrat. Legal Eagle. Do It Again on the outside. Socrat. Do It Again. These two left to fight it out. It's the 3-year-old Socrat with his head in front. Do It Again with one late lunge. Gets up on the line. Do It Again from Socrat. Then came Rainbow Bridge and Undercover Agent.
Brilliant win by this horse, James. He's now won the Guineas here. He's won the Vodacom Derby in July, and he's gone out and won the Law Marins with 3 different jockeys.
Yeah. What's interesting is this was billed as the race between the 4 of them of the century. What happened? What's the final outcome?
Well,
did Do It Again improve 3 or 4 lengths from the green point?
Yeah, he might have.
That's what the form shows.
The form would show that, you know.
Form shows
yeah,
that.
Legal Eagle has never lost a mile, so but he is 7. You know, Undercover Agent's probably better over 7 furlong. But
he won a Group 1 mile.
Yeah, that's so right. The runner-ups are very good 3-year-olds.
Just go to the green point, which is a mile at Kenilworth, and they finish within the heads of each other. This horse now beats him by 3 or 4 lengths. Okay,
yeah.
Socrat, the Guineas winner, comes and runs second, so it shows how good the 3-year-olds are.
Yeah.
And then what happens? So where does this put Twist of Fate? Twist of Fate's pretty close to up there with the best.
No, you're right. When you
and then
it like
you've got Rainbow Bridge, Legal Eagle, Undercover Agent, and Snow Dance. They run 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Very
but we've got
well done, of course, to all the connections twice over, everything. A wonderful. He's a smart horse.
Bernard Cantor,
Kent and his partners,
Jack and
Nick Johnson.
Nick Johnson.
Well done to Nancy. Well done to all of them. Well done to the Snaith Yard. Great day for them.
Well, you know what it is. It's a triumvirate of the 3 big Joburg, Durban, and Cape Town.
That's right.
We've got the Johnsons from Durban. He's holding the flag for us there. We've got the Mitchells from Cape Town. And we've got Bernard, who's now London-based, but he's a Joburg boy.
Yeah, that's true.
Wonderful to see.
Well done to all of them.
Yeah. And well done to Bernard for bringing in twice over.
Yes.
And I know that he got a lot of flack from a lot of people.
John Costa will be chuffed.
Well done to all of them.
Yeah.
And lastly and not least, I know this horse was born on Drockenstein, but Robin Bruss has got to be one of the best breeders around.
He bred the horse, you know.
He's a genius, Robin Bruss.
Yeah, he's a fantastic breeder.
And he should get some
accolades for it. I agree with you, James. He's bred so many top horses.
And he's brought horses into this country that have changed the breed.
He's a smart racing man.
Northfields was the sort of start of it all, and he calls it Bloodstone.
Robin Bruss is a very smart man, James.
We're way past our time on the tape. I don't know if they're going to let us run, but we're going to go through the 3 Joburg races. Let's pick up the first of them on the tape and see what they look like.
Live gives them 5 length start. On the double, racing behind that with Vistula on the far side, Perfect Tigress. Further back in the field, Captain's Princess, Storm Destiny and Mrs. Simpson. 500 to go in the 3 Troikas, and Return Flight the leader. On the outside, Running Brave is quick to challenge between runners. Ronnie's Candy, Dagmar's right down the inside, looks dangerous. Further back to On the double, and then Captain's Princess running on. 300 to go. Running Brave picked up the lead. Down the inside is Dagmar. Further back to Ronnie's Candy. Captain's Princess Vistula is running on strongly with Perfect Tigress. The outside, Storm Destiny. It's Running Brave in front. Storm Destiny is coming home powerfully on the outside. Perfect Tigress in front. Running Brave. Storm Destiny is closing in at the death. Here it comes. Very close between Running Brave and Storm Destiny.
Yeah, well done to Gavin Lorena, and a very good ride. Michael de Kock gets him ready, and Running Brave ran a fantastic race.
Fantastic.
Young Habib riding that, but this is a beautifully bred horse, James.
Yeah, well, she's by Dynasty out of Kilconnell mare. That's
she won a lot of race, Stormy Appeal.
Yeah, and
Ascot.
This is Ascot stud, and well done to them. Really nice filly, and she's looks like she's going to throw a hat into the ring for the Oaks. She's an Oaks filly. This. Right, we move on to the next one, And the next race of the day was another 3-year-old race. It was the Tony Ruffle. Nice to see Mrs. Ruffle, Joan Ruffle, handing out the trophy. And let's go and see if Hawam did it for them.
7-8 lengths to track down with Reach for the Line and Von Treo, and Celtic Seas the trailers. They become homeward bound with 650 to go. Stream ahead by 3 to 4 lengths here from Inexhaustible. Rocky Knight, Hawam's down the centre, Monopolize. Further back to Reach for the Line and Von Treo. Still got 4-5 to go with Celtic Sea. 400 to go. Stream ahead, Inexhaustible. Hawam's on the air outside. Celtic Sea's made up a lot of ground between runners. Rocky Knight. Further back to Monopolize and Von Treo with Reach for the Line down the inside. They come down with 2:20 to go. Inexhaustible picked up the lead. Hawam is back in second. Celtic Sea down there inside. Stream ahead. Hawam comes up to Inexhaustible. Celtic Sea's on their inside. Von Treo is finishing fast on the outside. Hawam from Inexhaustible. Hawam has got there from Inexhaustible. Von Treo, Celtic Sea. Then Rocky Knight further back. Stream ahead.
Well, another Solvana coming home. Hawam didn't do it as most people thought he would, James, but he got the job done. But pressed hard.
7 furlongs too short for
Too
him.
sharp.
You know, there's
Too
no
sharp.
doubt. He won a great race, I thought. But the horse that ran second, he's a horse worth having a good look at, Inexhaustible. He might be a very good sprinter. He's by Karari.
Yeah.
A very, very nice horse. The third horse as well, Von Treo on the Mumbai in Seattle, ran a cracking good race too.
Yeah.
We then go on to the London News at Group 3, and it's always a good pointer for the Champions Cup, which is coming up. Let's have a look there.
5 to go. Noble Secrets up along the inside. Then comes Liege. Further back, Deo Javenti and Secret Potion and Romney Prince now with 600 metres to go. Dawn Assault, El Danza is tracking him and now starts to pour on the pressure. Then Cash Time. Pietro Mascagni's travelling well. In behind those towards the outside, Captain and Master, Noble Secret. Pietro Mascagni between runners. Comes up to El Danza. They've got 350 to go. Dawn Assault down there inside. Then Cash Time. Further back to Noble Secret. Pietro Mascagni and El Danza, Pietro Mascagni. Cash Time's on their outside. Then comes Dawn Assault. It's El Danza and Pietro Mascagni to fight this one out. Down the inside is El Danza from Pietro Mascagni. Dawn Assault is coming back along the inside, and Dawn Assault has gotten back up to beat El Danza, Pietro Mascagni, and then came Noble Secret behind that. Cash.
Well, this is a cracking good win, James. This is Resolution. A horse showing determination, and Carl Zechner keeping at him. Well done to St. John Gray. The call to combat came through and won it.
Yeah, owned, bred and trained by St. John Gray. And the interesting thing was that this horse ran second in the Summer Cup. He got touched off in the Summer Cup by Tilbury Ford.
That's right.
So he just showed real guts.
I want to ask you a question, and I don't know the answer, so I'm throwing it out of left field. Do you know of any other great trainers who are owner trainers and breeders? There's not many that I can think of.
I can only
worldwide, I can't think of.
I can only think of St. John Gray.
St. John Gray, he must have hold his head. It's a fantastic achievement. He breeds him, he owns him, he trains him.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else. No. Well done, St. John. Terrific feat.
Terrific stuff. Okay, it was a fantastic weekend's racing. Just a couple of quick things that you need to know. The Singsfield Stakes was the first big race at Maidan on Thursday night. And my goodness, was a great race. It was won by Dream Castle, who's a Frankel out of a Dabawi mare, owned by Godolphin, trained by Syed bin Sarur. Christoph rode it. And the third dam is by Free State. Free State stood in South Africa. Right, Sharp Susan, we've told you about everything else.
Yeah.
The big news, Colosseum, which was a hot shot favourite for the Kentucky Derby, got murdered, ran 6 out of 7. And we're going to watch
big Magic Millions sale starts.
Magic Millions
13th.
on Sunday.
Sunday 13th, 14th and 15th. Fantastic sale, the Magic Millions sale.
Yeah.
If you can get out there, we'll get together with
We'd
horse.
like to be going, but
I'd love to be there.
Invite.
Yeah,
okay. Anyway, thanks to all of you, and good luck for the Magic Millions sale. Enjoy the next insert. You'll think it will be great.
In Australia, it seems just about everyone loves a punt, including cashed-up criminals.
How good has that job of protecting the integrity of racing been, in your view?
It's not been good at all. It's been very extremely poor, and in part brought about because you know, the stewards themselves who look after those codes haven't got the teeth. They're not investigators for a start.
The sport of kings and the occasional crook. Welcome to Four Corners. Colourful racing identities have always been a part of racing, even though the term has often been a euphemism for shady characters who might be up to no good. Understandable when you consider the number of race meetings taking place around the country every day of the week, with billions of dollars changing hands each year. Those billions invariably include an unknown amount of illegally obtained money, usually from drugs, that washes through the betting system and comes out clean. One drug baron is reputed to have laundered $80 million in this fashion. Our story tonight shows how corruption and criminal behaviour on the track are widespread and increasingly difficult to scrutinise. That while horse racing authorities and police often have parallel interests, there's far less cooperation than you might think, and that police are now taking a close interest in some of Australian racing's best-known names. One trigger for renewed police interest in the industry has been their investigation into the murder of racing identity Les Samba in Melbourne, and Victoria Police today announced a reward of $1 million for information leading to the arrest of his killer or killers. Reporter Nick McKenzie has been investigating corruption in sport since last year, and this joint investigation by Four Corners and The Age newspaper is the result.
It's just after 9 o'clock on a Sunday night as a guest at Melbourne's exclusive Crown Metropole Hotel heads out in his hire car. Les Samba, a colourful Sydney racing and business figure, is in town for the thoroughbred yearling sales. But tonight, he's on his way to a fateful rendezvous.
For some unknown reason, he had an appointment in Beaconsfield Parade, and he went to that spot. Why he went there and who lured him there, we don't know. So that's what we're asking the public to really put those last few moments together for us.
Now, why you would decide to meet someone in a street when you were in a major hotel, you could have come in, they could have come to see you, had coffee. Perhaps he didn't want to be seen with those people. That's why he chose that, what he thought was neutral ground.
Samba had a history of dubious business and racing connections. He once worked for Sydney gangster Abe Saffron, and more recently was a close associate of Sydney property developer Ron Medich, who is presently facing murder charges in New South Wales.
He certainly showed no indication that he was in fear of his life. However, he was a fellow who knew some very dangerous people. There were business dealings which were non-racing, which could have gone pear-shaped. He was entrepreneurial, and so he went where the money was. So he had many colourful friends, some of them with short tempers.
As he parked his car and made his way along the dark street, Les Samba was apparently unaware that he was walking into an ambush.
Middle Park, one of Melbourne's most affluent suburbs, last night became the scene of what police say was a premeditated hit.
The ambulance unit attended the scene, but this male was found deceased.
Mr. Samba began to run, but was shot several times in his body and head.
This is a clearly horrific incident to happen in a residential street in Melbourne.
One of the city's most upmarket Bayside addresses became the site of a major homicide investigation over the following days. Police seemed sure of an early breakthrough.
We're confident that we will solve this case. We have a number of persons of interest that we're currently looking at, and we'll continue to work through this case.
Almost 18 months later, the murder of Les Samba remains unsolved. But tonight, Four Corners can reveal that the police investigation has lifted the lid on allegations of organised crime networks and high-level corruption in horse racing.
Is it correct to say that it's opened up a real can of worms in respect of racing corruption? And if so, how big a can of worms?
Well, what I can say is that we've had to have a look at the racing industry, and in doing that, as a part of our investigation, we need to have a look at has organised crime influenced racing in Victoria and racing anywhere within Australia.
Within weeks of the shooting, Les Samba's daughter, Victoria, made an emotional public plea for information.
My dad has been taken from us in such a horrific way, but no one can take away the beautiful memories I have of him.
Victoria Samba was married to leading jockey Danny Nikolic, who has steered his mounts to victory in some of the nation's biggest races, including the Caulfield Cup. Nikolic and Victoria Samba had separated some time before Les Samba was gunned down.
Les had involved himself hands-on in looking after his daughter, which created some bad blood. And that's one of the areas, of course, police naturally would look at.
Detectives soon turned their attention to Danny Nikolic, along with others in the racing world, hoping for any clue that would shed light on Les Samba's murder.
Is Danny Nikolic or his brother John persons of interest in the ongoing investigation?
They're people we have spoken to and we'd probably like to speak to further, as is a number of other people in the racing industry.
In fact, Danny Nikolic, the jockey, voluntarily went to police and spoke to them. And that was a long time ago and he hasn't been charged, so he, of course, should be afforded the presumption of innocence.
Racing, great line out, fast away Dubai Opera, sped to the lead from Cyclone Sarah, Stacks on Max and Tycoon Rob going fast with Smoking Aces as they saw.
2 months later, Danny Nikolic was back in the saddle for a race at Cranbourne on Melbourne's southeastern fringe.
His Smoking Aces
His horse was called Smoking Aces.
Then getting back in the field by retaliating.
During the race, the stewards responsible for guarding the integrity of the sport were watching closely.
Opera and Smoking Aces wins first up from...
To the eyes of experienced turf watchers, it was a masterful win by Danny Nikolic.
Sarah Shaylani. Racing, great line out, fast.
So, Patrick, how's Nikolic's run at the moment?
Nikolic's riding the absolutely magic race. He's aware of the favourite, where it is. He's aware that...
Watching that race, would the average punter have sniffed something unusual?
I couldn't see. No, there was good and bad luck, and it went the way of Danny and it didn't go the way of the favourite.
What was unusual was the relatively heavy betting on Danny Nikolic's horse on the day of the race, and the identity of the punters who collected up to $200,000 in winnings. What's more, the stewards weren't alone in scrutinising the outcome of the race.
Are you investigating race fixing?
That is one of the allegations that has been levelled, yes.
And is there a certain race in particular under investigation?
There is a certain race under investigation that we've been made aware of that we need to have a look at.
And that's the race at Cranbourne, the ride of Smoking Aces?
That is correct, yes.
The alleged conduct of certain prominent racing figures in connection to the ride of Smoking Aces here at Cranbourne casts a huge cloud over the sport. It also raises questions about whether authorities and governments have been failing to safeguard an industry worth billions.
The whole vision of a sport, particularly racing, is that the best animal is going to win on its own merits. And anything that detracts from that is disgraceful.
Racing is entirely dependent or significantly dependent on the gambling dollar, and it's important that people have confidence when they do place a bet that they're going to get a run for their money.
From gala metropolitan race meetings to midweek country fixtures, racing is big business. Last year, Australians spent more than $14 billion betting on thoroughbreds. The track has long been a drawcard for punters representing a cross-section of society, including cashed-up criminals who've been targeting the sport for decades.
Now, in Melbourne, you major gangsters can't actually go and knock on the door at the Melbourne Club and come in and meet judges over Stilton and Port. But in the racing industry, people just blend in, and inside information is the currency of the day.
By the late 1970s, Robert Trimboli had graduated from the king of the Griffith marijuana trade to membership of a crime syndicate which imported millions of dollars worth of heroin into Australia.
According to New South Wales intelligence reports, at one stage he had 13 jockeys on his payroll. His diary, when it was seized, had numbers of judges, racing officials, jockeys, race callers, and there were a series of illegal phone taps put on his phone before he fled Australia in 1981. And those tapes showed him talking to jockeys routinely, getting tips, and even sharing tips with police. His bets used to be $20,000 cash. He still lost money. But it's not about making a profit, because if you can turn, say, 100% of dirty money into 75% clean money through the track, you're in front.
From their first ride onwards, jockeys across the country are warned that the rules of racing prohibit them passing on inside information or tips about the races they're competing in.
The jockeys are not permitted to tip, and under the rules, jockeys can't receive any benefit at all, whether it be financial benefit or otherwise, from anyone other than the owners of the horses. So it's generally considered that jockeys are there to ride the horses and give them every possible chance of winning, but they're not in the game for tipping horses and receiving benefits from doing that.
In 1995, Australian racing faced a very public crisis. Revelations that police phone taps had caught Sydney jockeys passing inside information to the head of a drug syndicate and allegedly fixing races hit the headlines in what became known as the jockey tape scandal.
This government is determined to drive corruption from racing.
They won't catch Jimmy Cassidy. He spears away, running home like Sir Valentino. Hot Zephyr in front, and he's going to make it 6. Cassidy, the man's a genius.
At the centre of the scandal, one of the biggest names in Australian racing, jockey Jim Cassidy, who rode Kiwi from last place to a celebrated win in the 1983 Melbourne Cup.
And here's Kiwi. Kiwi is flying, and Kiwi got up to win the Cup from Noble Comet and Mr. Jazz.
6 a.m, Rosehill Racecourse. Another opportunity for Jim Cassidy to talk to the horses he'll be riding at the weekend.
By talking to the animal itself and letting it have confidence in you 9 times out of 10, you've always got full control.
When the Australian Jockey Club launched its own inquiry into the jockey tape scandal, Jim Cassidy admitted he hadn't just been discussing race tactics with his mounts.
How you feeling, Jim?
He's got no comment.
AJC Chief Steward John Schreck, who led the investigation into the fine cotton scandal a decade earlier, brought disciplinary charges against Jim Cassidy and 2 other jockeys implicated by the phone taps. He was not surprised that a subsequent New South Wales Crime Commission investigation found insufficient evidence to lay criminal charges. John Schreck maintains it's virtually impossible for a corrupt jockey to guarantee that a horse will win, but it is possible to manipulate the outcome of a race.
You can turn a good thing into a certainty by running the race in a way to suit the good thing, and so therefore the manipulation of a race is not impossible. Unfortunately, I'd like to tell you that it is, but it's not.
The stewards found Jim Cassidy guilty of conduct prejudicial to racing by pretending to fix races in return for money, and disqualified him from setting foot on a racetrack for 3 years.
He was making this suggestion to the person, the drug dealer guy, that he could fix races and all sorts of things. And of course he wasn't doing that, and he couldn't do that. He wasn't able to do that. Cassidy was just conning the guy, and successfully, which is not to Jim Cassidy's credit, of course, but that was what was going on.
Jim Cassidy appealed against his disqualification, which was later reduced to a 20-month suspension.
There's life after racing, but Jimbo will be back, don't worry about that.
Might and Power the leader. Doremus is coming at him. Doremus after Might and Power. Might and Power and Doremus, they hit it. Oh, it's close. Doremus lunged. Doremus lunged on the outside. Can he have done it a second time?
By 1997, Jim Cassidy was back on the track and celebrating his second Melbourne Cup victory on Might and Power.
That is one of the great finishes in Melbourne Cup history.
He was also forging a relationship with another big punter who would soon earn an even bigger reputation as a major drug trafficker. His name was Tony Mockbelt.
Thanks, guys.
He was big, he was a big player. He was wagering enormous amounts of money, not only in Victoria but right around Australia.
Tony Mockbelt and Bob Trimboli were very similar. Then they loved the races, but they were both extremely personable men. They were likeable. People liked to be with them. Yeah, well, that was the surreal thing.
Leading crime reporter and author John Sylvester, who documented Melbourne's deadly gangland wars, witnessed Mockbelt's rise in the late 1990s. As his drug empire grew, Mockbelt became a regular at the racetrack, with a crew of cronies nicknamed the Tracksuit Gang, who put down large cash bets on his behalf.
These were a group of men who would place bets on horses up and down the eastern seaboard in a plunge. On one occasion, all with sort of old $100 notes, and when they won, they demanded to be paid with new $100 notes. And the Piranha Task Force believed that the Mockbelt put through 80 million.
Influence was not confined to the betting ring. 1998 and again in 2001, Mockbelt was being.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.